Hi. Hi. How are you? I'm good. Hey, Cindy. I wasn't ready. Look, see? Look. What I got on me. Okay. I was doing dishes. I was enjoying myself a little bit. Hey, Fanny. How you doing? We got Cindy in the house. Anyways, so tonight we are going to review the Gary Busey. Let me talk. Interrupt me. Gary Busey. We're gonna stop. You got me giggling. Hello, mother. Hello, father. Something Camp Granada. Okay. You feel so bad for Gary. I haven't watched it, so I don't know what his sentence is. So don't spoil it for me, muffins. I have not watched it. So, yeah. So we're going to watch the Gary Busey. It's your son. It's your daughter. Oh, my song. Okay. See, you know it better than I do. Anyways, we're going to do the Gary Busey sentencing. I don't know what it is. I haven't watched it. You didn't watch that? You watched. Okay. So you get to review too. So, and Karina Cooper, she got her sentencing and her victim impact statement. So I want to go over that one too. So let me add to my screen. Let's see. Gary Busey's is about 38 minutes, and Karina's is, I think, about 40. So he said, I know. You know, just like, which I don't know how to comment on, but I don't know if you've seen, but there was a guy that was set for execution, but they gave him a stay because he has dementia. And I'm not sure how I feel about that, because he was set for murdering, and I don't know how I feel about that, because he has dementia. That, see, look, baby, look at all those grays. They're all your fault. I see them. Look up here too. I see them. It's your fault, muffins. Anyways, it is sad. It's very sad. Yeah. So we're gonna look at it. Ready? Okay. Oh, ready? Okay. Oh, we're gonna cheer. Ready? Okay. Gosh, that was a long time ago.
In California.
Whoop, that's loud. Hold up. Let me adjust that volume.
The fact that he's not a danger to the public, as I try to point out, and I'll go through those factors briefly. Your Honor is aware that the crime occurred in conjunction with a celebrity photo shoot at a convention in Cherry Hill, where Mr. Busey was posing with interested individuals and having pictures taken with them. Judge, we acknowledge under NJ.
And if we remember correctly, it was because he supposedly was touching her butt, I think, in the picture, that she felt she was inappropriately touched. So I don't know what happens. I'm curious.
44-1A to a lesser or greater extent, and we're suggesting to a lesser extent that factors 3 and 9 are applicable, and deterrence. I suggested most of my sentencing memoranda to courts is always somewhat applicable, but in this case, specific deterrence, I don't think is a heavy factor, because I don't think Mr. Busey, under all these circumstances, is at risk of committing another criminal act in his life. So getting to the mitigating factors in 2C 44-1B, I asked the court in my memorandum to find that factors 1, 2, 7, 8, and 9 have application to the case. Although he doesn't have an unblemished prior record,
he's looking around like he's not quite even there to pay attention to what's going on.
He has led a law-abiding life for a significant period of time. And it is unlikely that the confluence of factors that led to the instant offense will emerge again. I say that, Judge, because he's not, his mobility and he spends a lot of his time at home with family, and he's not actively pursuing, at this juncture, to my knowledge, any type of commercial ventures in which he's seeking to have his photographs taken of people. That was the circumstance that.
Yeah, that background noise is them. I can't do anything about that. I'm sorry. It's horrible, isn't it? It's bugging me in my ears, so I can imagine y'all's. And yes, he should have had an advocate. I really think he should have, because he doesn't seem to understand what's really going on. And
himself with an unfortunate consequence. I under the circumstances, I asked the court to find that the mitigating factors outweigh the aggravating factors, and the sentence sought by the state in the plea agreement, which we've agreed to, is a probationary period. Again, I asked the court to sentence on the basis of the facts of the crime pled guilty to, which is
I agree.
To be specific, a touching of the buttocks of an adult female over her clothing. And again, I'm not minimizing the fact that there is a victim here, Judge, but I'm simply trying to explain to the court our perception.
I don't really know. I don't think that's actually come out and been said, but I will look at that in the background and see if I can find out while we're listening to this horrible audio.
Of the nature and degree of the harm inflicted on the victim. I'm not saying no harm was inflicted. I'm saying it was not substantial to the degree necessary that Mr. Busey has to be supervised. Your Honor, make brief reference. I attached as exhibits a report from Dr. Daniel Heyman.
Okay, here. Y'all know. I'm all about facts. Here you go. No, Gary Busey does not have dementia. He has a brain disorder and impulsive behavior stemming from a severe 1988 motorcycle accident. It goes on to say, he's spoken openly about how the accident altered his brain, though he describes it as a disorder rather than a negative change. Psychiatrist Charles Sophie also noted Busey's accident weakened mental filters, contributing to impulsive actions, but this was not described as dementia. There you go. Interesting.
A substantial report, which was produced in 2018 in advance of, prior to the commission of the instant offense. And that particular evaluation was done by Dr. Heyman, who has pointed out in his report, is a certified neurologist and psychiatrist. He notes that in 1978, Mr. Busey, 1988, Mr. Busey sustained a severe brain injury in a motor vehicle accident where he had no helmet. He was, as a result of that accident, left in a coma for 30 days. Had to learn to talk, speak, and function again, with which great effort he's been able to accomplish.
It does. It sounds like somebody's got a TV on in the background. Yeah, and they cannot say Busey. 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 I'll play that little, it's like a 20-second clip. I'll play it in a minute.
And certainly there's been no suggestion by law enforcement, by any medical doctor, anyone, that he was not competent in a manner to deal with this legal issue against him. And again, I reiterate for purposes of the record, I have no doubt, based upon my continuing.
Hey, Ava, welcome in. You get to hear this horrible video with us. I don't know what this background thing, we think it's a TV. We think Gary might have a TV on in the background, not realizing it's picking it up.
Conversations with him, that he's competent to have entered a guilty plea and be sentenced today. Medically speaking, he had a cancerous tumor removed from his sinus in 1997. So he's not been without serious medical injuries. And according to the doctor, Your Honor used certain language, but he does have mild cognitive impairment, which is.
See, Cindy, if we would have just listened, we would have found out. We jumped the gun on this, don't we? We jumped the gun. If we would have listened, they're going to tell us. Oh, my goodness.
Which, but he does have mild cognitive impairment, which is, and early dementia, which, again, the court can take judicial notice that having the luck, good fortune, and good health to live to be 80 years old or older, there's going to be a diminution to some extent in cognitive skills. But
okay, and you can't make this shit up. I hear sirens in the background. Not only are these noises coming from inside Gary's head, bless his heart, I hear sirens in the background. No lie. Again,
he's competent and knows what he's doing, knows what's happening today, and is asking the court to impose financial sanctions only. Again, it's traumatic brain injury. I don't want to get technical, but as the doctor says in his report, the injury affects prefrontal cortex and temporal lobes bilaterally, and there were known to be clear cognitive deficits in focus and memory. Again, I don't want to confuse this with someone who needs attention, needs some type of support, needs someone around him to act independently and does act independently. He has a hearing problem also, and many people in.
Do you think he has a hearing problem, sir? Do you think he has a hearing problem, really?
Your secondary have that. I'm beginning to get a hearing problem. So under all those circumstances, without minimizing, he does live in California.
Right, Ava. And right before you had come in, we were discussing that you know, he does have a few issues. Let's see, where did I find it? We looked it up, and it doesn't have dementia. It's a brain disorder and impulsive behavior stemming from a severe 1988 motorcycle accident, which was quite interesting. And Muffins had even mentioned he should have an advocate, which, you know, I think would have been very, very helpful.
His elder son lives with him on most occasions, and he's resided there for many years. He has no ties to New Jersey other than his visit in 2022. I might add, since that the case has been delayed for various reasons having nothing to do with the court.
That's what we're hearing. It's being played backwards. They're coming to take me away. They're coming to take me away. To the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. It's being played backwards like an old Aussie record or something. That's what we're hearing. Y'all, that's great. That's great. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll slow down.
Defense counsel, in that we're in 2025 now, but during that period of time, the 3 years, Mr. Busey has not engaged in any behavior that would indicate he needs any type of probationary supervision. So again, I haven't spoken much about Mr. Busey's life, but
what? He's not gay. What? What? I'm sorry. Yeah, you are so right. You are so right, Fanny Pack. Had issues for years. He once was a decent actor. It's rather sad. You know, he was an awesome actor. I enjoyed watching him, and it's really sad to see them in this condition. You know, even Bruce Willis, you know, with his frontal lobe dementia and the way he's gone downhill, it is extremely sad to see these people that we've seen in a whole nother way years ago, and to look at them now and go, wow, you know, it's a lot. Stop it. Stop it, Ava. Cindy is my main mod. Cindy is my main mod. And Muffins, in case you haven't met Muffins is my daughter. Muffins is my adult daughter. They are. Yes. He was a great actor, but those days are behind him, unfortunately. And I agree with you, Cindy. They're behind him. And I don't think he'll be doing much of anything. You know, they make a documentary. You know, that's what everybody of his age are doing these days. So, yeah, it's my daughter. Muffins is my baby. She's in her 30s, but she's still my baby.
Any type of probationary supervision. So, again, I haven't.
Okay, he said again. He didn't say gay. Okay, I was reading and I thought, see right here, it says gay. Not that it made a difference, but I was like, what is he talking about? Mr. Busey is not gay. That's not what he said. So, anyways, yeah, okay. I was reading because I'm trying to understand it.
Think much about Mr. Busey's life, but he is obviously a recognized public figure, has had substantial success in the acting industry, is a well-known individual, and unfortunately...
Sir, I'm going to point something out just because I can. He just changed screens. So whatever Gary Busey is looking at on screen, he just changed whatever he's looking at because his face just lit up. So whatever he was viewing, he changed it and is looking at something else. Now, whether he's looking at this guy talking now or what, but something just happened because his whole screen just changed the lighting. I'm going to back it up just a second, just to see that. And maybe it was because he moved too close. I don't know, but it really looked like he changed screen.
Recognized public figure, has had substantial success in the acting industry.
See right there how the light changed? So that's whatever he's looking at on his computer just was a whole nother thing.
Is a well-known individual, and unfortunately, because of that, I'm sure he would not want to give up any of his public persona, but he has engaged. One of the deterrences for someone like Mr. Busey is the substantial adverse publicity that attends to being in a proceeding like this. To me, that's a measurable penalty also, and I think it factors into the suggestion that he will not violate the law again. So under all those circumstances, Judge, I appreciate the court for its indulgence all along this case by permitting Mr. Busey to remain in California, and I ask the court to consider no probation and financial penalties only. Thank you.
That's Busey's attorney trying to keep him.
Okay. We don't need talking heads. Hopefully they're going to fix the sound.
Assistant Prosecutor Brian Scale on behalf of...
I think so.
Your Honor, Blair R. Zwillman, Morristown, New Jersey, for Mr. Busey, who appears remotely with the court's permission.
Okay. In the state, you have moved for sentencing, asking for no contact with the identified victim, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. Moving for sentence in accordance with negotiated program.
Now, Mr. Zwillman, do you wish to supplement the record from this morning?
Judge, what I stated before is of record now, so I don't have to repeat that.
Yes.
Yeah, as to the judge, based on that, and my position that Mr. Busey understands everything that's going on, has been of assistance to me, and has assisted me in his defense, Judge. I'd submit on the basis of what I've provided to the court in my sentencing memorandum, my earlier argument today. Judge, underlining the fact that under all the circumstances, a probationary sentence is not necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Busey.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a right to speak at your sentencing. Do you want to say anything, sir?
I'm following my attorney's advice.
Okay, and what I want to say to you is, you have a right to say something if you would like to. Do you want to say anything?
No, ma'am. I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. With that, the court makes the following finding. I do want to state for the record that based on the submissions that were presented to the court in a letter brief back in September 1st, this court had additional concerns. The court continued the matter until 3:30 this afternoon. So,
All right, we're going to step aside here and take a break. When we come back, we're going to get you back for more of the sentencing for actor Garrett Busey. Keep it right here with no probation. But prosecutors are asking.
With a supplemental medical report. And I do note that in looking at that supplemental report.
Wait, what? A third victim came forward next day, also alleges Busey grabbed her buttocks. Excuse, where did I miss that? What in the,
From Dr. Amen, and that's Dr. Daniel G. Amen. When I looked at the original diagnosis from that doctor, which was a letter dated April 25th, April 12th, 2013, that caused this court concern.
okay.
That concern has been satisfied. Dr. Amen has written a supplemental letter stating that Mr. Busey is competent to proceed today. So therefore, the court will continue with his sentence. With that, I make the following finding. This defendant is 81 years of age. He pled guilty to count 1 under indictment 338-0225. Count 1 charges the defendant with 4-3 criminal sexual contact. This plea results from an agreement with the prosecutor. Defendant waives his right to appeal. I have had the opportunity to review the criminal division's pre-sentence report, and I find that this defendant has had prior contact with the criminal justice system. And looking at the pre-sentence report, this defendant has an arrest on September the 3rd, 2004, out of Malibu, California. He was convicted of trespass and disorderly conduct of fighting. He was sentenced on July 16th.
He has questions. Did you see when she said that? He looked over at whoever and he said, what?
On September the 3rd, 2004, out of Malibu, California. He was convicted of trespass and disorderly conduct of fighting. He was sentenced on July 16th, 2007 to a 3-year period of probation.
What? I gotta go to
The
the
next contact.
Y'all see? He's not understanding. He didn't hear. You see what he just did? This is not cool. Now, and this was just after she just read in and said that his doctor said he's competent. No, this isn't cool. I'm not happy with this.
3-year period of probation.
What? I gotta go to
The
the
next contact.
No, I gotta.
He said, I have to go to the bathroom. Stop. That,
Of probation.
What? I gotta go to
The
the
next contact.
No, I gotta go. It'll be in my pants.
I'm sorry, Judge. He has to
I
go
have to
use
go
the
in the bathroom.
One moment, okay, let's stop.
So sorry. He had to use the restroom.
All right, we're good.
No worries. No
what is happening?
worries. Yes, we'll pause the record.
You saw it say, look, because she, so there us, National Trial Attorney Michael Javer. Michael, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining me here on the.
If that judge believed him, she would have asked, and that he has these competency issues. So I believe that it's a sideshow, like you said. We'll see what happens.
Okay. We don't need to hear your music.
To plead guilty to a 4th-degree sexual contact.
Okay, no, this was the other video. This was the original one. We've seen that. No, let's get to. Look, I know they just look what is on screen. Busey took a potty break, but he's back now. Don't tell me that they said this on court TV. Get the fuck out of here. He did not just say this.
Back into the hearing.
Very good.
Okay. We'll continue with this.
They didn't say it, but it's on screen. They must have took that back out, but it is still on the screen. Took a potty break, but he's not back now to get you back into the hearing.
Sentence. The next contact that Mr. Busey had with the criminal justice system was an offense date of 12/16 the year 2000. That contact was out of the state of California. He was convicted of a hit and run with damage to property. He was convicted of that offense on August 3rd, 2021. He was given a 1-year period of probation.
What was that?
The police car.
Huh?
The hit and run. It's over.
Now, are you able to hear me, sir?
Are you able to hear
Can you
her?
hear me?
Can you hear her?
What?
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
And whenever you cannot hear me, let the person know sitting next to you, and I will repeat myself, okay?
Yes, ma'am. It'll done. Be done.
Yeah. I have reviewed the criminal division pre-sentence report. And I do find, as I said, that this defendant has had prior contact with the criminal justice system. Now, with this indictable conviction, I've looked at all of the aggravating factors, 1 through 15. And I do find that number 3 is applicable when I look at his contact with the criminal justice system. I find aggravating factor number 6 is applicable based on the extent of his criminal history, what I have placed on the record. And I find number 9 to be applicable And I place great weight on the need for deterrence.
What?
I am now looking at the mitigating factors. The defense have asked the court to find the following mitigating factors. The defense has asked the court to find mitigating factor number 1. What says the defendant's conduct neither caused or threatened serious harm. I think someone homosexual contact can threaten serious harm, so I do not find number 1 to be applicable. The defense have asked for mitigating factor number 2. Hereby says the defendant did not contemplate his conduct will cause or threaten serious harm. I do not find number 2. You have to contemplate when you are touching private areas of anyone that can cause or threaten harm. So I do not find number 2. I've looked at the mitigating factors 3, 4, 5, and 6. They're not applicable. There are no facts to support a finding for those. I do find number 7. Although this defendant has 2 convictions, he has had a law-abiding life overall. So I do find number 7 in his favor. I've looked at number 8. I do not find that there's enough in front of me to support a finding for number 8. I do find number 9 in mitigation, as he is under treatment with his doctor. So I do find number 9. I do find mitigating factor number 10, as I do think he is a candidate for probation. Looking at aggravating factors 11 through 14, looking at mitigating factors 11 through 14, those mitigating factors are not applicable as there are no facts to support a finding for 11 through 14. When I weigh the aggravating and mitigating factors on a qualitative as well as a quantitative basis, I do find that the aggravating factors outweigh the mitigating factors. This was a negotiated plea agreement between the prosecutor and the defendant. In deciding whether or not to accept the agreement, I have considered the nature and degree of the crime, the need for punishment and deterrence, the defendant's prospects for rehabilitation, the pre-sentence report, the defendant's previous involvement in the criminal justice system, the recommendations of the prosecutor and the probation department, the terms of the agreement and the interests of the public. The agreement appears to be fair in the interest of justice, and the court sentences the defendant as set forth in this judgment. Now, Mr. Busey, sir, if you violate your probation, you can receive up to 18 months in state prison if you violate probation. I have considered argument of counsel under State v. Warren, whereby the defense is asking the court to impose fines only in this case. I find that the defense has failed to meet their burden. I find that this defendant shall be sentenced in accordance with the plea agreement.
What?
I find that the defense has failed to meet his burden when I weighed the aggravating and mitigating factors. That fourth-degree criminal sexual contact is a serious offense. And I find that I have not heard anything that will warrant this court to go against the plea agreement as entered. Now, the defendants exposure for probation is anywhere between 1 to 5 years. The court is to start at a mid-range period, but to put him at 3 years. When I do look at the mitigating factors that I have found, I consider his medical history, I consider his age. In the interest of justice, I am sentencing this defendant to 2 years probation.
Okay.
Defendant shall provide a DNA sample. His fine shall be $50 VCCB, $75 safe neighborhood, $30 law enforcement, to be paid at the rate of $20 per month. It's a $5 probation supervision fee. The only condition on placing, sir, is that you have no contact with the victim with the initials of AD. So it's clear for the record, Mr. Prosecutor, I reviewed the impact statement from the victim with the initials.
All right.
Yeah, stay inside for the next 2 years, and keep your hands to yourself, sir.
Defense counsel, in that we're in 2025 now.
Okay, now, no, we know it is coming from this man. His attorney is the one that's got something on the background, because it wasn't until he started talking that noise started again. So it's this man. We were wrong.
But during that period of time, the 3 years, Mr. Busey has not engaged in any behavior that would indicate he needs any type of probationary supervision. So again, I haven't said much about Mr. Busey's life, but he is obviously a recognized public figure, has had substantial success in the acting industry, is a well-known.
You know what? I bet you he's on his phone on Zoom and the screen cuts off and he touches his screen and that's what's lighting up in his face. Yep, been there, done that. The stupid phone dims on me before I'm done looking at it and I have to touch it to get that screen to come back on. I bet you that's what's happening.
Individual, and unfortunately, because of that, I'm sure he would not want to give up any of his public persona, but he has engaged. One of the deterrences for someone like Mr. Busey is the substantial adverse publicity that attends to being in a proceeding like this. To me, that's a measurable penalty also, and I think it factors into the suggestion that he will not violate the law.
All right, that was Busey's attorney, and we are wrapping up our coverage in the sentencing of
75 out of 0412 that's dismissed. The remaining counts of the indictment, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are dismissed. I am advising you, sir, of your appeal rights. You, sir, have 45 days to appeal this sentence today. Do you understand that?
You have 45 days to appeal the 2-year probation sentence.
Yes, I understand.
Now, if you cannot afford a private attorney to file your appeal, you can write a letter to the criminal division manager. If you qualify for representation, an attorney will be appointed to you. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
You also, sir, if you were to miss that 45-day deadline to file your appeal, you could seek a 30-day extension to file your appeal if you could show a good reason for missing the original deadline of 45 days.
What? But
If you
she had
want
her hand in front of her.
Can you repeat that, please?
Yes, I can. If you want to miss that 45-day deadline to file your appeal, you can make a request for a 30-day.
Sir, who is Timothy Black that just popped up in here? Who where did he come from?
Extension to file your appeal. Do you understand that?
You could request 30-day extension.
What?
You can request a 30-day
Oh,
extension
Lord.
for an appeal if you
No.
choose to file an appeal. past
Okay,
45
yeah, I understand.
Now, if you miss that 30-day deadline, you can lose your right to appeal. Do you understand, sir?
I lose my right to what?
Appeal.
Yes, I understand.
Hey, Joey, take the other person out my booth. I don't want anyone in the booth, but who's supposed to be in the booth right now?
There
Do you
go.
understand that, sir?
You said yes.
Yeah.
You already said yes.
Yes, I do.
Now, I want to tell you about what's called your post-conviction relief rights. You have 5 years from today's date to file a petition for post-conviction relief. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Unless there is an exception under the court rule 3:22-12. Do you understand, sir?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now did your attorney in the past review with you your appeal rights that I've just read to you?
Did your attorney review this with you? Your
Yeah,
appeal rights?
okay. Yes, I did, yeah. I will
Okay.
follow the advice of my attorney.
Say it again, sir, please. I'm sorry, excuse me.
What?
She wants you to repeat it.
I will follow,
What I said.
read that writing. I will follow the advice of my attorney.
Okay, but I just explained to you your right to appeal. Do you understand what I just explained to you?
Say that again, please.
I just explained to you your right to appeal the sentence. Do you understand those rights?
This is sad. This is very sad.
Do you understand the rights?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Okay, based on what you
He
stated,
doesn't know what he's agreeing to.
I am satisfied that you understand your appeal right and it's time to file a post-conviction relief application. Now, sir,
This is my opinion only. This judge should be ashamed of herself. She should be ashamed of herself. And Mr. Busey got 2 years probation. 2 years probation, which I think is probably appropriate. I want to throw things, hit things. I'm sipping my coffee. I'm holding my coffee mug tight. Whew. But this judge should be ashamed of herself. That's just my opinion. She should be able to see that he is not okay. Even if she had a doctor's note saying, I'm sorry.
the record is very clear. I have been making observations of this defendant so that the court is satisfied that he understands everything that is happening.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes.
I have requested medical documentation that says Mr. Busey understands and that he's competent, and I have received that documentation. So I am satisfied that he understands.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Muffin's over here talking about her grandma Kay. It was the dementia and stuff. It creeps on. It's not, and I see so many signs with it. I see so many signs with what he's doing of what Muffins and I dealt with for years. I agree. He needs a different judge. He's not mentally capable to understand. He is not competent. I agree with you, Ava. I do. I'm not okay. I'm not okay with this. Right. I don't know what monitor she's looking at, but it's obviously not the same one we're looking at. Obviously.
You're welcome, sir. Well, with that, court is complete. Mr. Busey stated, Mr.
All right, so the judge may.
Wow. That's I can't think of much more to say than that. I am very disappointed in that judge. I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with, no. I mean, 2 years, that's probation. I'm okay with the sentencing, but I'm not okay with her keep saying that he's competent. That I don't see competency there. That's okay, whew. Okay. That was very painful to watch. It was very upsetting, and again, the trauma stuff, not to dump mental health into this stream, but yeah, I that was a lot. That was very triggering because I really thought about Grandma Kay, like Muffins was saying, and what we dealt with her and knowing she wasn't okay. There you go, Ava. Judge needs to be disbarred. Okay, just for a palate cleanser, let's remember Gary Busey while he was sane, sort of.
Let's talk about your Cable Ace Award.
Let's talk about buttered sausage. Talk about buttered sausage, where it comes from, what it does. Why is it doing what it's doing? Get it out of my face. What about buttered sausage?
That's not your jam. It's not your thing. You don't like it?
It's not my jam. I don't buy jam. I buy honey, and I kiss it on the lips.
Oh, y'all. Oh, my goodness. Okay. For funsies. All right. We got to laugh, or I got to giggle. Anyways, I hope y'all were laughing too. Whew. Drugs for a bitch. Okay. We are, okay. On to, yeah, bless his heart. That's Mama's line. Bless his little heart. Okay, we're on to Karina, and it's not very long. I think it's about 40 minutes long. So anyways, okay, on to Karina. Let's see what happens with her, because I haven't watched this either. She looks horrible. She looks awful. And orange isn't a good cover. Orange is not a good color for her.
Honorable Judge Lars Anderson presiding.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I should tell y'all, Karina Cooper. A jury found her guilty in July 2025. She had an affair with her co-defendant, Houston Danker, and they killed her husband. What was his name? Ryan Cooper. He was 42. He was in the recliner. He was shot in the face 2 times. And her kids were in the house. She had 3 kids in the house. And one of them walked through the blood. There was blood on their feet. It was really, really, really awful. Yeah. So, for 3 years, the case went unsolved. Investigators found no signs of forced entry, pointing to a suspect known to the family. The murder weapon, with .22 caliber rifle, was later linked to a shell casing found at the scene. Co-conspirator Houston Danker was having an affair with Karina. He was also charged with first-degree murder. He later pled guilty and acknowledged that he and Karina had planned the murder for months. So, and then there was all kinds of text messages, and Ryan's life insurance policy was over $500,000 and stuff. This was one of the first trials I did when I took over Katya's channel. I think that was on July 3rd. I did it the week prior, I believe, but yeah, that's when I took over the channel. So, okay, I'm gonna hit play. Let's. Orange is the new black for her.
Good afternoon, everyone. Go ahead and have a seat. All right, we are on the record this afternoon in Tama County case FECR 018424, State of Iowa versus Karina Cooper. State appears today by Assistant Attorney General Israel Kodiaga, Assistant Attorney General Mike Ringel, and Assistant Tama County Attorney Geneva Williams. Ms. Cooper is personally present with her attorney, Aaron Hawbaker. On July 11th of this year, a jury returned a verdict finding Ms. Cooper guilty of murder in the first degree in violation of Iowa Code Sections 701.7 and 707.2, Parent 1, Parent A, a Class A felony. First thing we need to do today is address Ms. Cooper's motion for a new trial. I have had a chance to review the motion filed by Ms. Cooper as well as the resistance filed by the state. And we'll start with you, Mr. Hawbaker. Is there anything you would like to state further in support of your motion this afternoon?
No, Your Honor, we would stand on the pleading.
All right, and then I'll turn it over to, looks like you've got the microphone there, Mr. Ringel. So, Mr. Ringel, is there anything further you would like to state in support of the resistance to the motion?
Judge, no, the state would rest on the record created in this matter at trial and just note that the greater weight of credible evidence favors the verdict rendered in this case.
All right. Well, as I indicated, I did have a chance to review both the motion and the resistance. The court can grant a new trial in a criminal case when the verdict is contrary to either the law or the evidence. A verdict is contrary to the evidence when it is contrary to the weight of the evidence, meaning that there is a greater amount of credible evidence supporting one side of an issue or cause than the other. In other words, the question before the court is whether there is a greater amount of credible evidence which suggests the verdict rendered was a miscarriage of justice. That is not the case here. I have considered all of the evidence in this case and the statements and arguments made by the parties in their related filings, and I find that the greater weight of evidence supports the verdict. Without reciting all of the evidence that supports the verdict, it includes Ms. Cooper's relationship with Mr. Danker and the messages with Mr. Danker both before and particularly the night and morning of the murder, messages which directly implicate Ms. Cooper and Ryan Cooper's death. Accordingly, the motion for a new trial is denied, and we will turn then to sentencing. At this point, is there any legal cause to be shown why judgment and sentence should not now be had that you're aware of, Mr. Ringel?
The oldest son testified. He did testify, and this is on the channel if you ever get bored and want to go back and watch something. It was quite interesting.
How about you, Mr. Hawbaker?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Ringel, does the state wish to be heard with respect to sentencing?
Judge, the state is just requesting that the court impose a sentence of life in prison without parole.
Mr. Hawbaker, do you wish to be heard with respect to sentencing?
It's required by statute, Your Honor, so no.
Okay. Ms. Cooper, Iowa law requires that I give you an opportunity to address me before I render judgment in your case.
Oh, speak.
There's no requirement that you say anything, but if there is anything you would like to say, this is your chance. So, Ms. Cooper, is there anything you would like to state at this point?
I respectfully say no, Your Honor.
All right. Then, Mr.
I respectfully say no, Your Honor. Okay, ma'am.
Ringel, I understand that there are some oral victim impact statements to be made. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. There are two.
Okay. And I'm not sure who and where they are, but
And first, Judge Heather Cooper would like to make a statement.
all right. Good afternoon, Ms. Cooper. I'm going to have you go over there to that chair, please. And there's two microphones over there, but one of them's got a little, that one, yeah, if you could turn it on. And Ms. Cooper, we don't swear you in or do anything like that, but just going to ask that you give us your first name and your last name and spell them so we have that clear for the record.
Okay. Heather, Heather, Cooper, Cooper.
All right. And you've got something with you, and,
Yes.
Which is fine. Just want to remind you that court reporter here is going to try to get down what you're saying.
Okay.
I'm probably guilty of this as well because I was reading partly from the script. People do that. They read quick.
Okay.
So just make sure you keep it to where she can keep up with you. All
Okay.
right. Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead.
Okay. Your Honor, as I said, my name is Heather Cooper. Ryan was my brother-in-law. I want to thank you for this time today, for our family and friends, to have a chance to tell Ryan's story and share our grief and pain. 3 years left living in fear, scared of the unknown. Were we next? scared for our nephews and our niece. At first, we thought, was this an unknown grudge to a person, to the Cooper family? Then as rumors escalated and time with authorities, it became, could she really have done something like this? I watched my husband live in fear those first few nights, unable to sleep in our home, being first on scene, left horror images in his head and unable to sleep at night, worried for ourselves, worried for our dad. It's a fear I wouldn't wish upon anybody. Why did she put him through that? Was it her last stab? Were we that terrible to her? Hearing names tossed around, but nothing made sense. Houston. What was this about? She never explained. She chose to let us live in the unknown. Then the children. I will never forget those faces. Pure terror that morning. I sat in that vehicle hugging them fiercely, their aunt. Nothing but pure love and fear inside. How does a mother look at her child with fear in their eyes every day and not say anything? Our lives that day were forever changed, but nothing prepared me for this. The day verdict came in, I had an idea of how I would feel. Grateful. Justice was served, right? But it wasn't. It was a different kind of sadness. Honestly, it felt like a death, like she had died. Life forever changed, a family forever broken. She was my sister-in-law. We could forever laugh, made fun of our husbands together, talked about and vent about all the things that drove us nuts about them, but we loved them anyways. I thought we would always have that bond. We were family, even when you drove each other nuts or we pissed each other off. We were family. Then after, it changed. Things were different. She hardly came around. She was distant. She could not wait to get out of there, it seemed like. She showed up, sitting through our family Christmases, almost like you were forced. How'd she do it? Knowing she did what she did. Sick, disgusting. Were our lives really that bad? Your Honor, during trial, you were given a lot of information about the character of her. I want to share Ryan and what this world is missing. He was a quiet man, you heard many say. Gentle, kind, got along with anyone. If he wasn't in those shops, hanging around with friends, you could find him on the farm, two little boys in their cowboy boots falling shortly behind. He was the one that knew everyone. We would laugh because my husband would constantly get called Ryan, and we'd get, oh, there is another Cooper boy, mainly because everyone knew him so well. He was the one on the phone constantly for work. For a quiet guy, he sure was on the phone a lot. He was the guy that left his home in a disaster during a storm to go help the neighbor. He would go on family trips, and you would find him helping the owner out, not because he was asked or because he thought he needed to or needed anything in return. He was a simple man, kind, caring, thoughtful towards others. The pain of what he is missing never goes away. I heard once that when someone dies young versus old, you miss the memories that they never get to make. Ryan and Aaron farmed together. It was a generational farm. Hearing stories of great-grandfather down to their dad is some of my favorite stories. They were brothers. Now they might have fought about the silliest things. Never sure who won. Stubbornness seemed to run in the family. At the end of the day, it all worked its way out. Maybe ending with a good beverage and a job well done. My husband would tell you the year before Ryan died was one of his favorite times in the business. They were finally getting the dynamic. Mom was gone, sister stepping into that role. It was a full circle family business. Something to be proud of. Ryan would have told you he could not wait to show his boys how it was done. Counting down the years, he could finally throw him up in that tractor and say, get it done. Gosh, he was happy. We were happy. Now there's a hole in the business. A father no longer gets to teach the next generation. That is not how it should be. That is something we don't get back. That is our forever broken family chain. There's 7 children in this story forever changed, forever broken. Ryan's oldest, now a young, fine man. Ryan didn't get to see him graduate. Ryan would have been so proud. He was hopeful that he would move closer and he could see him more. I can see it now, talking about his job and his cool car. Oh, Ryan would have loved to ride in that cool car. We would all laugh together, saying boys and their toys. 3 children forever must live with that awful day in mind, suffering massive trauma no child should ever have to witness. They never received any form of therapy until they moved in with us. I kept asking, why not? They always seemed weird to me. Why would you not want to get your children help? Since they started, they all have said it's been very positive for them. They were forced to live in fear for 3 years. She was moving them to multiple homes. When they came to live with us, we would have to check the doors. They didn't like the nighttime. These are things that we still live with today. They want locks on their rooms to feel safe. How does a mother know what she knows? Watch her children that way. I will never forgive or ever understand. She putting them through this. Cousins have now become siblings. I even find them saying that sometimes. My husband and I have 3 girls and they have to share their parents. Our nephews and niece talking about how they no longer have a mom or a dad. This is the part that is unfair. We did it without a beat. I would do anything for those children. But we should not have to. Their lives should not have been broken and taken from them. We have spent the last year supporting and encouraging, never talking ill about her. No, that was not for her. That was for them. She is their mom, and they may always have some sort of biological bond to her. I would never hurt them, and that is why we don't do anything that could potentially upset them. Hearing we were made to feel by them like we didn't want them in our lives after Ryan's death infuriates me. We tried keeping in contact, always met with excuses or not even a return call. Maybe that was your form of guilt. As we move forward of a family of 8, I want her to know what she gave up. We will be at every baseball, football, volleyball, and whatever game they choose. I will sit in that stand and I will yell proudly. I want them to look up and smile, and I want them to know that they are loved and supported. I will help them with homecoming, proms, the boys to pick their tuxes, take that little girl to get her nails and her hair done, pick out that perfect dress. We will teach them to drive and prepare for the future, go to the college tours, help them in their dorms, and create the life they wanted. Aaron will step into that role that Ryan should have played, showing the boys how the farming is done, being there through the good and the bad days. We will spend forever showing them what a loving marriage is. When they find that special someone, we will help them plan that special day, helping that not so little girl anymore pick out that beautiful white dress. Aaron walking her down the aisle, looking at her saying, your dad would be so proud. He would like this one. When they start having families of their own, we will let them call us grandma and grandpa, loving those kids, taking them to all the lake and family vacations. Number one thing for them, we will love them and make sure that they are forever safe. Pray they won't fear trusting and loving others. I forever pray she did not damage them from loving. They go places now and it feels different. What once was happy memories her and her lover have destroyed. She destroyed so much of a positive future and ruined so much of a past. For what? Him? I don't understand. There were so many other options. Divorce, seeking counseling. Why? Will you ever tell us? I will forever be grateful to the authorities that stay constant in our lives. For my husband, that never missed a week of calling. Honestly, it just became part of our schedule. They got to know his number well, checking and seeing where they were, making sure Ryan was never forgotten. How many times did she call? Maybe once, twice, in 3 years? 3 years, anger and mixed emotions, trying to decide if we would have to remain around her forever, never really knowing the truth. The detectives on the case became our family, supporting our family, helping us through emotions. We were met with support and kindness. We never would have made it through these last few years without the support of the family and friends and the community coming together, putting these kids first. Her friends became ours. Her family became ours. I know Ryan is proud. The guy always helping would be proud. She destroyed people, manipulated people, some in their most vulnerable times of their lives, claiming she had been through tragedy and loss and pain and could support. What kind of sick person does that? Was it worth it? This online, you say, relationship, was it worth it? Awful, deceiving person. She deserves the worst. But I'm tired of focusing on her. I want to plan trips and make schedules, hang out with friends, laugh at good times, make amazing memories. I don't want her to be the topic anymore. I want to enjoy life without hanging over us. So this is it. Last she will see of us. Last I will address her. Last I will care to give her any thought. She can now go to prison.
Mr. Ringo? Judge, thank you. Michelle Wilson.
That was powerful. And absolutely, Fanny Pack. Thank God for this woman and her husband to take those children in and going to raise them as their own and see them through life. That is just, wow. Whew. And I didn't want to interrupt. Thank you, son. And thank you, daughter. I didn't want to interrupt her while she was talking. That's a lot. Okay, so the next one is going to be Michelle Wilson, which is Ryan's sister.
I'd like to make a statement as well.
Oh, she's crying now. She didn't cry during the trial.
Good afternoon, Ms. Wilson.
Yeah, maybe she doesn't like what they're saying
Ms.
about her
Wilson, if
now.
you could just give us your first and last name as well and spell them so we have it clear.
Sure. Michelle Wilson, MICHELLEWILSON.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. And whenever you're ready, you may go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, today's the day. The day I can finally speak out about how this narcissistic psychopath made the incomprehensible choice to rid her pathetic life of my brother, Ryan Cooper. I began writing notes for this statement over 4 years ago. The first note started just one day after Ryan's murder. The day we sat in the building right next door and learned who was responsible for this heinous crime. Ryan was my little brother, 10 years younger than myself. From the time he was old enough to walk, he was kicking around in cowboy boots and farming from the living room floor with his extensive set of red Case IH die-cast farm implements and his Peterbilt semi-tractors and trailers. That kid was no doubt going to be a farmer. As he grew up, he quickly moved on to dirt bikes, four-wheelers, and real tractors. He loved all kinds of toys, even in his adulthood. During planting and harvesting seasons, Ryan couldn't wait to get out of school and into the cab of a tractor. There was never any question about what Ryan wanted to be when he grew up. He was a farmer through and through. It was also clear from a young age that Ryan had a fondness for little ones. I have so many photos of Ryan holding and playing with my babies, his nieces and nephews. Even more than being a farmer, he wanted to be a dad. Nothing made him prouder and more overjoyed than having a family of his own. His 4 children, Cole, Cade, Gable, and Cortland, were his most cherished treasures, and he loved them with every ounce of his being. On June 18th, 2021, all of this was taken from Ryan, and Ryan was taken from us.
Actually, no, they didn't find out the next day. They found out that day. I think she was talking about sitting in a interrogation room and all that from when they were interviewed and all that, because a relative showed up at the scene, and she was like sitting on top of him or something, and they had to, and I'm not sure, it was his brother. I want to say it was his brother that showed up. Maybe it was Aaron, that, now that I'm remembering. I don't have that book in front of me. I should have pulled my book out. When they got in there, and they had to pull her off, and she had blood on her and everything like that. So yeah, the family knew that day. I think she's talking about, learning about what had happened.
Back in July, just 2 months ago, we all heard the horrific details of the day that Ryan was murdered, and the absolutely disgusting 5 months of planning that led up to that day.
She had text messages that were like saying "fucking kill him," and she hated him, and he what was it, a semi truck accident or something, and then he was texting her back, "Don't forget the casings," and all that's in text messages.
But what ensued in the coming months, weeks, coming days, weeks, months, and years was atrocious. Imagine your brother had been murdered. Imagine the person responsible for his murder was living in your brother's home along with him and his 3 young children. The heinous crime was committed in their home while 3 of the children slept upstairs. No efforts were made by the person responsible to protect his children from either the purported random intruder or from the horrific crime scene.
One of them came downstairs right after.
Within 24 hours, you've been assured by law enforcement that the evidence collected thus far undeniably demonstrates her involvement. Though much of the evidence is unable to be disclosed, you know just enough to begin putting the pieces together. Meanwhile, you are grieving and processing the murder of your brother. You are planning a funeral, all the details being decided alongside your brother's murderer. And that's just the beginning. The person responsible for your brother's murder now has custody of your brother's children. This person who...
Y'all see those mouth movements? She is not liking what this woman is saying about her.
Who is typically a passionate, intense, assertive, and aggressive person, has nothing to share with law enforcement, offers no details or insights into who or how someone could come into their home and murder your brother, and never seeks a single update on the status of the case from law enforcement. Over the next 32 months, you want to see your brother's children. You want to remain part of their lives. You want them to know how important they are to you. But in order to do that, you have to spend birthdays, holidays, vacations, other family events, and community activities with your brother's murderer. You want to be there for anything and everything your niece and nephews might need. But along with spending time with the kids, you must also spend time with your brother's murderer.
She's having a hard time.
You want to help support their well-being and provide for their basic needs if they have lost not only their father, but the place they could call home. So you provide them and your brother's murderer with family acreage. During all this time, your brother's murderer is parading around the community, portraying herself as a grieving widow and a victim. She is manipulating anyone and everyone who would listen. She rarely ever speaks your brother's name. only occasionally mentioning him in conversation, and then referring to him only as husband. She sought praise and accolades for her actions, her efforts in building this new life for herself and her children. The new life that began when she murdered your brother. She even expresses to others how she felt the Cooper family was failing to support her and the children, like we had just abandoned them altogether and were choosing to exclude them from our family. Thankfully, many could see through her lies, but unfortunately, many others were caught up in her manipulation. As much as we wanted to face Ryan's murderer, confront her about her actions, to tell her we weren't believing her lies, we had to keep up the facade. We continued to hug her. We continued to tell her we loved her. All the while, she's still believing she's successfully hiding her deepest, darkest secret, that she murdered our brother in cold blood. We did that for the children, to protect and maintain our relationship with Ryan's children. And we did that to allow the investigators time to assemble and prepare the solid, masterful, and airtight case we heard at trial. Ryan, we will never stop saying Ryan's name. We will never stop celebrating Ryan's life. And we will never stop supporting Ryan's greatest and most beautiful legacy, his children. Cole, Cade, Cable, and Cortland will forever know how much their father loved them and how so very proud of them he was. Ryan will forever be remembered as a wonderful father, son, brother, uncle, friend, truck driver, neighbor. He was a man of few words. He spent hours on the phone, hours on end, making phone calls. And you all remember the headset and the miles and miles he paced while talking on his phone. And though it seemed he only had a few close friends, the attendance at his funeral and the miles-long line of semis at his funeral procession say the most about who he was to our community. Ryan was sentenced to death by this murderer. Those of us left on earth were sentenced to life without Ryan. There is no justice. There will be no forgiveness. What I hope for now is simply closure. There is no sentence for you that would adequately punish you for your evil, vile, selfish, delusional, and narcissistic actions. I will waste no time and no energy in addressing you about that. My full, complete, and final message to you is go to hell. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Who are all these people moving around?
Any further victim impact statements, Mr. Ringel?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right.
What is happening?
Then at this time,
Walking.
Ms. Cooper is adjudicated to be guilty of the offense of murder in the first degree in violation of Iowa Code Section 701.7 and 707.2, Parent 1, Parent A, and judgment is entered accordingly. She is sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Her custody is placed with the Director of the Division of Adult Corrections for temporary custody with the County Sheriff. Ms. Cooper shall pay victim restitution to the estate of Ryan Cooper in the amount of $150,000 as required by Iowa Code Section 910.3B, Parent 1. And Mr. Harbacre, there was a supplemental restitution request to Crime Victim Services, I believe, in the amount of $14,944.76. Any objection to that?
No, Your
and should also make restitution in that amount to Crime Victim Compensation Program. Ms. Cooper should also make restitution for court.
I forgot about that. She had got, oh yeah, she got money for the crime restitution. She also got the $500,000 in his life insurance policy. So why $150K only? Okay.
Costs in the amount established by the clerk of court and restitution for court-appointed counsel fees. Are you requesting any fees, Mr. Harbaker?
No, Your Honor.
With respect to Category B restitution, I've reviewed an affidavit that Mr. Harbaker has. Mr. Ringel, have you seen that?
I have, Your Honor, yes.
Does the state have any objection to me making a decision based on Ms. Cooper's ability to pay Category B restitution based on my review of that affidavit?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Well, having reviewed that affidavit, I will waive payment of Category B restitution in Ms. Cooper's case. As required by Chapter 81 of the Iowa Criminal Code, Ms. Cooper shall provide a DNA sample to the Department of Correctional Services for purposes of DNA profiling. Based on the nature of the offense and as required by Iowa Code Section 811.1, there's no bail in this case. As far as the reasons for my sentence are concerned, the sentence imposes a mandatory sentence about which the court has no discretion. I will say,
I think Lola was telling her to get the hell out too.
this was a senseless crime. Mr. Cooper was, by what I heard at trial and from the statements I heard today, a hardworking, kind, generous man who loved his children and his many friends. Ms. Cooper, your actions, whether you were the one who shot Mr. Cooper or whether as a result of aiding and abetting Houston Danker resulted in his death, they deprived your children of not only a father, but of a mother. And I can't really state any more eloquently than was stated in the victim impact statements, the broader impact it's had on Mr. Cooper's many friends and family. Ms. Cooper, I do need to inform you that you have a right to appeal this case to the Iowa Supreme Court. If you're unable to pay the costs of an appeal, you have the right to apply to this court for appointment of counsel and furnishing them any necessary transcripts of relevant proceedings. All is provided for in Iowa Criminal Code, Chapter 814. If you do want to appeal, you have to perfect your appeal by filing a written notice of appeal with the Tama County Clerk of Court no later than 30 days from today's date. Perfection of your appeal in that matter is jurisdictional. Failure to comply with the provisions set out in Iowa Criminal Code Chapter 814 would preclude you from your right to pursue an appeal. If you do want to appeal, you have to have a copy of your notice of appeal served on or delivered to the Iowa Attorney General's office. I believe that concludes the record. Mr. Ringel, is there any further record that the state believes needs to be made at this point?
No, thank you.
Mr. Harbaker, any further record that you believe needs to be made?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then that will conclude the record.
All right. Well, goodness gracious. Okay, I'm going to throw a link in chat. This is Mark the Shark. So if y'all are looking for something to go do, that's where I'm going to go hang out for a little bit. Check him out. He's going over the Celeste Rivas case with David, with finding the poor lady, young woman, actually, she wasn't even an adult yet, in the trunk of the Tesla and all that. So if you're looking for something to go do, you can join us over there. So with that, I'm going to go. Y'all have a great rest of your night. She's going to life. She's going to life. She's going to prison for life. I'm going to get it out right. No more smoking devil's lettuce before stream. I promise, guys. Okay. Y'all have a great rest of your night. I will see y'all tomorrow where we pick back up day 5 with Texas versus Tony Earls Jr. in justice for Arlene Alvarez. So with that, I'll see y'all later. Peace. Remember.
Life's a ride on a rickety old track.